Okay, well, let's get started on this demo. And the first thing you're going to need is you're going to need a quest. And that is the theme of the Underworld. So let me bury this card. And then we're going to get a Queen of Rods. And then a Queen of Rods is going to be, I looked this up in the game booklet, and that's going to be the Sacrament of Virtues, Delver Virtues. And it gives a nice long description of what's going on. And then from that I can determine that I have incidents of what's happening on the surface. The surface is, let's see if I got that in here. Monks will ask for charitable tithe before you enter the Underworld. Just one of probably 150 of those that we have in the game. And then the next card I'll flip would be a inverted Three of Cups. And with inverted Three of Cups, I'm going to get the fact that the threat is going to be a giant mouth. The creature so large that all it can be seen is a gaping hole and rows of needle-like poison fangs. And so in the main climax, I'm going to fight this huge mouth. I can go back and I can say, well, what was the actual quest that I was doing? And the actual quest was that no good deed goes unpunished, and for the purpose there must be an ulterior motive. Text of the game, it's a lot easier for me to read. The gentlefolk are seldom what they appear to be in the fantasy campaign. Discover this cabal's plans and report back to more powerful forces to stop the conspiracy. So the surface monks are just a sham hiding this great maw monster, and I'm going to go into the Underworld and I'm going to destroy that great maw monster that they probably worship. And then there's another minor card for a twist, and I can get that by flipping that Seven of Rods. And that Seven of Rods will tell me that, let's make sure I got the right one here. And there it is that the enemy has built specially bred mounts for spirit and speed. Now I wrote all this out in advance, so don't think that I'm cheating you here. This is all just part of the text that you can read in the game after flipping those three cards. But I basically have my Underworld here is that I'm going after a sinister cult that's protecting a giant mouth in the Underworld that they probably take sacrifices down to and feed. And the minions of that mount are actually undead, and those undead are on undead horses and mounts that'll be riding after me as well. So a pretty good example of how big the scale is of the Underworlds we're dealing with. And to start the adventure, I just pick a path. And this is, I'm going to lay this out only for what I would do if I was trying to create an adventure as a referee. So I already have a good deal of detail on what sort of theme I have for the players to go on. But now I want to build the Underworld itself around this. So maybe the first thing I want them to do is just follow the milestones of their book and go into the Underworld, and they hit this this Magician card. Now the Magician card is going to tell me, I go down to milestones in the text, and I look under the area paths, and that Magician is that I start off right away with an imposter in my ranks. So not one of the monks must have infiltrated amongst the various whelps of the company. And if you're playing your other favorite role-play game, and you're not playing on a scale like this, it might be that one of the henchmen of one of the people, or you can add an NPC right at the surface as a referee. Now, I'm not actually going to move through this Underworld. That even if I was using that as my example of where I am. And that Magician does not end the event. What ends the event actually is this Six of Swords card. So that Six of Swords card would take me on milestones. And I just look up this on the page number. Down and down and down we go. I'm just scrolling through the game itself. That 6 is a miscalculation. Mistakes are made, and a mea culpa must be emitted. But what I'm really looking for is I'm looking for the path. This path ends soon after discovery, and the players would have to backtrack. So if you take milestones from the surface, it's going to dead end, and I'll mark that as such. So I'm going to pick a different path from the surface. Maybe I'll take vaults. Vaults is another good way to enter into the Underworld. Probably didn't leave myself enough room. Once again, I start with a major tarot here, which is always fun. And that Vaults card is going to take me to the Lovers, and I go down to the area paths, and what happens with that Lovers card. With Lovers, I get the fact that there's a quarrel. So not only did I start with the fact there was an imposter in the rank, but from this path along the Vaults, you get a quarrel between your party. But the actual event there is going to be an Ace of Wands, Ace of Rods, and I go to Vaults, Ace of Rods, and again, I'm scrolling through the game set here. I haven't really, maybe I'll click one out just so you can see the type of material that's offered in the game. And here comes that Ace of Vaults. Now this is all stuff that you could just cut and paste and put into your own Word document, or, you know, just go back and read it right from the game manual as you're playing the game with your players. You usually have a little bit of extra time while you're playing to grab this stuff and present it. You can read it right from the game booklet. In innovation, a novel way of building is attempted as others look on and critique. Decline the company's supplies. If you were playing with in the company of Delvers, you would decline the supplies here to rationed from this novel technique that is being exercised. If you're again playing your other player role-play game, maybe they have to use their rope up, or maybe they lose a few sacks. Or I think in even the latest versions, the modern versions of roleplay, you don't even keep equipment lists. Maybe this is just a fatiguing option. But I'm going to look down, and it says argument over the technique are concluded. You're going to use labors to do vital curses, and then it's going to be milestones or vaults. So this path actually leads to milestones, and I'm going to cheat a little bit and say that it leads back this milestone right to the other milestone, into that place that dead ends, and vaults again. So I'm going to take vaults off from here, and I'm going to flip a card for that vaults, see what it is. And I got a King of Swords, a vaults King of Swords, and that's going to be a classical realm. And you can see the material here. I'm doing another cut and paste, and then I'm going to probably not be doing this, but the ancient place that once was a stored kingdom, gain a tally of gold. That's really nice. And I could actually if I'm thinking I'm going to play this virtually, I might go ahead and generate a tally of gold and put it right in there as a reminder for me as a ref as I build this. And that vaults then, but again, I'm mostly just setting this up in advance. I'm not so much interested that if I entered this area, the players would be attempting persuasion, simple skills, and success to remove their affectations. That would be their buzzwords, their character flaws. On mishap, they could end up losing a trait or lose a point to one of their stats. But that would be done actually during play. The classic realm that you move through, regardless if the quest has progressed 3 levels down, no, we're still on level 1 here. So I just put a little reminder there that I'm on level 1. And where do we head from here? It says, and I just have to parse the text. It says that fail and saluted, and gain a teller of gold. But again, that dead ends as well. So we got 2 dead ends and 2 dead ends. So we're going to have to take a third path off of the surface here. Maybe I want to go to the path of the Fae here, and I'll just put it out here. And then I could grab a little drawing tool and say that third pass from the surface to the way of the Fae. And then I could put that card in there, and that's a 8 of swords, and I go to the Fae path then, and an 8 of swords. I scroll down through my text to make sure I get it, and it's going to be the waning week, an area that causes the gang boss to lose some time. Regardless, if the main quest monster is confounding, well, I can look up under the threat, and it is not confounded. It is malignant and preternatural. But if it was confounding, then I would be attacked by the undead minions here. So far, we're moving right along. Attempt incantation in this thing. A dead end without the need for backtrack. We're going to say that we go to another option here. You can go up to 7 options off of the surface. Let's go right to evil. And evil will get me to this 9 of coins. So I go to evil, and at evil I got the 9 of coins. Now the players would have a 1 in 4 chance of selecting the right entrance off of the surface of the underworld. We're all still all on level 1. That 9 of coins inverted is a flaming barbican, so they're going to have to fight themselves through a flaming barbican into the hellish domains. Again, from here, it is you're going to have to either move forward to get a random output out of the flaming barbican, or they would have to backtrack from it. Let me get a die here, and let me roll a d8, and a 3, and a 3. I think I have in here a I look under my list of, there it is. A 3 would be the smell. So off of here, if you go through the flaming barbican, we can go through a path of smell. Otherwise, we're going to have to backtrack a little bit. And you can see my gamer anal retentive coming in there. I had to extend that just a little bit as if I wouldn't understand it. But I could go milestones into this area that's going to dead end. I can go vaults into this. And even if I haven't written down the material, since I know that wand, I can always look it up. A vault, inverted Ace of Wands, it's in the game book, but I always look it up later. A milestone to a 6 of Swords, I can always look it up later. Those are going to dead end. This one continues on the vaults and also has gold. And I didn't actually see any sort of denizens in either of these. If there were denizens, I could perhaps, mark them with, monsters of some sort that come along. I would have to actually look in the rule books and see if those were in there. But let's go back to the smell. So if you go through the flaming barbican, I might even, go through here and grab something to represent that. If you go through the lava pit past the flaming barbican to smell, what do I generate? So I would basically take a card flip, and I'd get to a 4 of Swords, and I would go to the sounds, smells area, investigating smells, and I would go to the 4, filling down. First 200 or 300 pages of the game is basically charts that interwork together. And that 8, it's not an 8, it's a 4. That 4 would be a blasphemous interlude. Behold the monster that sees itself as supreme. Denizen exudes air, etc. And we have, I think we've run into a demon, and so the demon may be summoned against its desires. Give the demon a name like Baku. So I might have a demon here. Past the barbican. The barbican probably was defended by something, but past the barbican, if you go through it, figure out a way to get through the flaming barbican, you get a realm with this demon in it. And where are the paths from the demons? Now the demon himself would give you the paths of climax somewhere, any combat against this. Demon typically wants a trophy or an artifact, and as I read, I see that the parlay or quell the demon to advance a level, and the next route is milestone. So I would take milestone, put it up here maybe, to level 2 if we do what the demon wants. And then as I'm playing this here and writing now for the referee, if I was going to referee this game, I'd game master it for you guys who are of the modern descent. If I'm going to game master this, and the demon you meet, you could either fight that demon. Depending upon the abilities of the party, that would either be an easy battle or a difficult battle. And in the company of Delvers, in most cases, it would be a mid-level battle fighting a demon. So for something like your other favorite roleplay game, that demon might represent a larger beast or one of the lesser kinds that you would face. And as you would take the path following evil, you would hit that flaming barbican, and from there you would run into the demon. And the demon will want you to do a mission on the side. And he probably would want you to kill something like a great beast. Let me grab a great beast here. I think I got a great beast. And maybe off of this path here, we're going to have a great beast that needs to be killed. Just stick an ice flow here in the middle of my underworld. It occurs to me that what you can also do is right here you could decide this would be the great maw of teeth. And the climax, the demon as a sentinel could be pointing you in the right direction to find the monster in the underworld. And that way the demon could be used more like a godly figure, an NPC that the players can then interact with. This is another advantage of actually making the underworld in advance. You can think about the different combinations that come together, because nothing beats the human brain. I mean, I can write 1,000 different randomizers, and all of them can help you. But if you're not there to tie them all together, it's just not going to work. And if you go and kill that monster next door from the demon, bring back its head, the demon will let you progress to level 2 on milestones. That level 2 would take you to the world. And we go to the world on milestones. It's going to be down paths. And I would read on the milestone that it would take me to Scrolling. And we get to, it is a peon feud, so some of the guys with us are fighting over most of the major tarot or actual individual acts that affect the continuity of the group. Here we got people that are fighting with one another. After we resolve that, to shake up the rolls, we hit the Fool, double majors in one room. The demon wasn't really doing us a favor by allowing us to go that path, huh? Negligence, a Vanguard failed to find and clear out a trap, so we have to deal with the fact that a trap probably went off without us actually properly clearing it. We got then a third major tarot. Where's my design partner that we can scream at him that his shuffler is not working very effectively. That strength card. We go to the force card in the game. The major tarot has many different ways of telling things. In my case, if I have this classical deck from the 1910 version, you can see the Roman numeral. That 11, the force card, honor and glory. Someone thinks he's a knight rather than a delver. A random player now has a hero's journey, and there's a paragraph here that describes how you would work that into your game system. But finally, we would get to the actual event, the guts of play, and we're following milestone. We're going on a 6. And we come back to this, and I can continue to flow in. I can add another path off the surface, but again, since I'm doing this on the fly, and I'm just looking for ideas as a referee, overcome my writer's block, I might throw the fact that the demon can offer us an alternative runes. If I really wanted to be a literalist and see what the actual game is generating for me, I could add a encounter off of this great beast that I fought, or I could continue to add yet another path from the surface. The paths I've used are Vaults, Milestone, Fey, and Evil, so let's grab water. So I could take the water route here, and that Queen of Cups is water. Queen of Cups. The Kudzus line, the area is thick with a water plant, and it creates such a tangle of magical vegetation. Now we haven't done sound from the surface, so let's do sound from the surface. Whee! Sound at the pinnacles. I go to sound in my tables. This actually probably would make a very good mission for a group of guys coming over that you haven't gamed with in a little while. Just, no maze to it at all. You can just basically go which way you're going to go off the surface. They might guess the right way, they may not. And now I finally have a route that off of the surface that I'm not constantly dead end on, although some of these may dead end, and I can continue, to flip out cards and fill in the gaps for them. Look at that, 3 majors in a row before we get that 10 off of sound, off of smell, and off of evil you might have this one. Off of milestones you may have this one, and you can begin to see that you have the basis of an underworld that you're creating here, the basic paths. I tend to keep, cute cards like this around, so that after I do my my different areas, I can. Whoops! Don't disappear on me. I can, as I said, don't disappear on me. I can go back and I can add these colorful sort of overlays on top of my my actual areas, so that it looks a little better than the tarot cards, although I don't necessarily need to not use the tarot cards. If I were to take this, I could even turn on the fog of war if I was going to play this online, and start with a situation where the players can only see the fact that they have a small area that they can see, and they can take this path here by sound. As I flumix with my game player. And you could also take that path, which I think led to Fey, and that path that led to water. And then I can just let the players pick. Do you want to go sound, Fey, milestone, vaults, or water? And they say, well, let's follow the milestone first. It dead ends. Well, let's follow the vaults. The vaults takes me to an area that the resolution is that inverted Ace of Wands, and from there it leads to a second vault. So it's got treasure in it, and I can follow the water. That's going to take me a dead end with the resolution of the Queen of Cups. You could take the text right from the game, and I can just paste that into a word processor so that I have it. I could put a letter there to mark it, or I could just use the same schematic and know that when the players took the path of sound to the page of pentacles, I would go to the Q&D on sounds, I would look up, and you got yourself a barricade to block the player's progress. What's that just say? You don't have a tarot deck? Well, that can be easily solved. Space Gamer has actually provided one. You can see the URL at the top, and you could sit here and click. I forget the previous card. Let's go back to it. I can draw a card. I can shuffle it any time, and I can basically click through the deck, and at the URL spacegamer.com/sgtarot.aspx.